right, so we're in the back now. So first line of attack will be to take this bolt off, but first make sure you have your pole jack or something supporting this bucket right here because it is under spring tension. It's best advised to have a spring compressor, but since these are already lowered, well, not lowered, but it's already a Godspeed coilover kit and it's pretty much divorced, so meaning the spring is separate from the shock. So we're gonna go with the setup that has the spring on the shock. So we're gonna pretty much eliminate this guy right here and just run the coilover all on that piece up there. So first thing I want to do is take off this and then try to see if it'll slide down enough. If not, I'm gonna have to compress this spring, but let's hope I don't have to do that. All right, so I was able to get this loose with a 17 millimeter. All right, so in order to spin this guy down to get it to go down like that, so you can take this out, as you can see, it's pretty loose already. So it's not under that much spring tension, but in order for this bucket to drop down, you're gonna have to loosen this bolt. So you just pretty much loosen this bolt right here, get it loose. Just don't forget to tighten it when you're done. And this should pretty much come out. All right, we got it pretty much as low as we want to go without touching the exhaust. Look at that, baby. So we lowered it just enough without even touching this exhaust. I don't know if you can, the camera's gonna pick up, but there's a gap in there we're not even touching. So now we should be able to pull this thing up and out without pulling the exhaust off, which will save you some time, even though it's a couple bolts, but still, I ain't trying to pull off more than I need to. All right, now this is up and out of here, and now all we gotta do is focus on that. Get that in there, set it in, and we're good. So next, we're gonna take the bottom bolt off of the bottom of the shock. So it's a 17 mil, and I already got the 17 mil wrench on the back of the nut, as you can see. So we're gonna take that off, but first, make sure you got it supported. I've got my pole jack. So I took it off from the bucket, but I made sure I put a rag right there. So it's just resting on the exhaust ever so slightly. Don't want to scratch this nice polished exhaust, no matter the brand, I don't care. Don't want to scratch anything up. So next we're going to pull that off right there, and then after that it's literally the 2 bolts on the top. All right, so bolt is out. Now we're just going to get those 2 nuts off, and this sleeve is coming down. All right, so the 2 12 nuts are out, and we will pull this shock out and install the new one. Coilover is out. So out with the old and with the new. So where's the other one? So here's the old guy right here, the old setup, the divorce setup. So you've got your separate shock as well as your spring. In with the new with these. So as you guys know, reverse installation is a reversal process of removal. So instead of boring you with the install stuff, I'm just going to give you the torque specs for these 2 to put these in, as well as the torque specs for these guys, and the torque specs for, let's see, for these right here. So I'll post all the torque specs. So it's going to be torque spec for this. This is the alignment stuff. This is the eccentric nuts they use for alignment. So I give you these, which go here, and then that one as well, as far as the one on the top. All right, so here's the torque specs. Let's zoom in on this. So starting from the top, we've got not this nut that we want these 2 nuts right here. So 1 on each side. We got 21 foot-pounds. And then Now at the bottom of the shock, we got 81 foot-pounds. Now for these buckets, these lower control arm, whatever you want to call them, we got, what is that, 53 foot-pounds for this nut and bolt right here. And then for our centric nut and bolt, we got 53 as well. So 53, 53. This one right here is 81. And then for the top, we got 21. All right, so everything is in. Bolts are marked already. So I already know what it is. Everything is marked. Let's check the back side. Ow! You can even see the Loctite dripping out of that. But that's okay. Got that one, so we're good. Now, and we got that side down, but this is the markings from the previous alignment that I done on this car, maybe like, I don't know, 6 months ago. So I'm gonna have to loosen this to do the alignment up anyway. So that's the other arm. So we'll finish that up later on. Alright guys, so we're just on a quick test drive just to make sure the suspension gets nice and settled in before we do our alignment. And also too, to make sure that we don't hear any funny noises, clunks or anything like that. So I just like to get in and do a couple turns, and for one, this suspension feels really solid. I like it already. The car hasn't even been aligned yet. So that means it's only gonna get even better. I like to just go through, this is perfect right here, oh yeah, so I just hit like the train tracks that had some gravel that was kind of like broken up and on bumpy road. So that was a perfect test just to make sure that it's not, messing up the suspension to where you hear like bumps and things like that. So I like to do a few hard turns like this. Suspension feels nice and settled already. Haven't even done the alignment. Beautiful. Okay, so then what I like to do after that is take a few hard turns in the roundabout, do 2 or 3 hard rights to get the car nice and planted, suspension planted, and then do a couple hard lefts, but nothing crazy. So let's just get to it. All right, so let's just do a few hard turns just to make sure the suspension is nice and settled. And as soon as I can hear the tires start to slip, that's my like threshold. So, all right, so it feels good this way. Now let's turn around and go the other way. Alright, so let's just let the suspension kind of settle. Alright, beautiful. Hard right, hard left, and looks good. Alright, so test drive is done. Now time to invoice the customer out and send him on his way. Alright, so here's just a little quick B-roll for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for today's video. If you found any value out of today's video, hook it up with a like, maybe a subscribe. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.